simple manner. It's going to be really quick, just 13, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I know I will do. So it's just loading. Okay, here we go. Everyday objects becoming computer nodes. So what is an embedded system? This is the basic question we can ask. So embedded systems are a combination of computer software and hardware, which is either fixed in capability or programmable. And it is designed for a specific function or functions within a larger system, which means that it is mostly independent or part of a large system. But we're getting deep into this in the next slide. So as a great example, I do love cooking. That's why I'm going to relate this next example or embedded system with cooking. So here we have this salad is, I can say this is a Russian salad, right? So in your left hand side, you see the ingredients, which mean you can prepare them in a different way. I mean, in a separate way. So it is not mandatory to have all the ingredients ready in a specific pan or something like that. So we prepare them individually, then enjoy them. So this is the way we cook Russian salad. At least I do. So the second one, which is a ratatouille, in case you don't know. Uh, in your left side, you have all the ingredients, and for this dish, um, we do not do as the Russian salad. We just join all the ingredients in the same pan. Okay, one at a time, but in the very same place. So this is embedded system. Everything joined in a specific bored, I can say. So because in the past, we used to have many different things or components to build the system, and only specific people were able to join and build something useful. And it was used only as a prototype. But now, with this kind of embedded system like Arduino, we can easily use. I don't do electronics, but I'm learning how to work with Arduino and stuff like that. So now it is easier for anyone who wants to learn and apply those or that knowledge in different ways or manners, and even at home we can easily manage to set up an embedded system. So this is the main architecture of an embedded system, whereby we find, before this, there's something that was missing. So there are a few important terminologies in embedded system, but I'm going to let you know the details here. So reliability, real-time connection or interaction, flexibility, and fault tolerance are one of the examples of terminologies we use in embedded systems. So going to the architecture, we find first sensors. Well, in sensors, we convert what we receive into electrical signal. And then after here, we go here to analog to digital converter, and which basically converts the analog signal to digital. So we go then to the memory, where obviously we store the information. And after here, we go to the processor, which is going to process data. to measure the output, and it's going to store the memory. So then we have digital to analog converter, which is the opposite of this one, AD. And then we have finally the actuators that are basically going to compare the output uh, given by the DA and then approve which one has to go to the memory. So this is the basic architecture. After the architecture, we find the main types of embedded system. So the first one is small scale embedded system, and this is the smaller one, and we can find embedded in this one 8 to 16-bit microcontroller, and in the medium one we find 16 to 32, and in this third one, sophisticated embedded system, well, we can find configuration processor or scalable processor. This because, well, I'm going to cooking again. So we need we need scalability when we know we are doing something not just for few people. For example, if I am building a restaurant, I won't build and put inside only 2 tables or desks or wherever. I am counting with many people. So when it gets to the limit, at least I know that I did enough for more than 2 people, for example. So it has to be scalable to be able to, how can I say, to manage all the activities that are going to be processed there. So now, okay, what is a microcontroller? Because we said in the previous slide that we find embedded different kinds of microcontrollers inside each type of embedded system. So what is exactly a microcontroller? A microcontroller takes in electrical signals and make decisions based on them. So basically, a microcontroller is the heart of the thing because it's usually used in embedded system for real-time control apps. So in the EDP software, so many people tend to compare, or I don't know, they think that microcontrollers are Arduinos, but that is not right. So what is an Arduino? So an Arduino is an Italian company that builds circuit boards and make microcontrollers easy to use. So it's not a microcontroller, but makes microcontrollers easy to use because, as I said, in the past, microcontrollers or wherever they were made only for specific people, and only them will be able to apply. But now, with this kind of board as Arduino, even people that don't know much about electronics can be able to buy, use an Arduino in an easy way, just with few videos and few courses and all of that. So, as I was talking about Arduino, this is a basic one, which is an Arduino Uno. You can find different types of Arduino and different types of boards. Mine, for example, is not an Arduino. It's an Wemos D1, the mini one. So it has like Wi-Fi embedded, different from Arduino. That if we want to, uh, if we want to implement certain things, we have to include a specific board to be able to connect to the Wi-Fi. So in the Arduino components, we find first pins, I/O input and output pins that receive the signals, of course. So such as keyboard, sensors, etc. So we go to the microcontroller. We already know what is this. So is this one right here. Then we find this chip. It's a kind of USB controller, and this is what allows us to upload from software to the microcontroller. So this chip right here. So this one, number 4, is the external power source in case we don't want to make direct connections to our laptop for whatever reason. We can use this external power source. And then we have number 5, this USB entrance. But if you're using a board as mine, just like mine, the the entrance will be, no, the entrance is the same. Yes. So no, it's not. It's mine is micro USB, and this one is just USB. And number 6, a reset button. So this is the basic structure of an Arduino in case you didn't know. So, by the way, I'm not going to have for to show anything practical because I had few technical issues with my project. I didn't manage to find a pump. Yeah, the smaller one from 6 to 12 volts, I think. Yeah, I didn't find that anywhere. So anyway, so examples, automate our TVs, ACs, fans, or anything that has an IR receptor with an Arduino and IR sensors and actuators. What happens here? Well, all of those that I mentioned, TVs, ACs, fans, etc., as long as they have a IR receptor, we can easily manipulate the values, and with our phone or whatever, we can pretend he will receive the signals as if they are coming from the real remote control, but instead, we are the ones who are going to be controlling all of them. In the second one, IR sensors to build up a hand sanitizer dispenser without Arduino or any other board, which was the example I did want to bring, but I didn't, as I said, I didn't find the water pump, the smaller one. And the last example, IR sensors to build up fire or smoke detector. So these examples lead us to, okay, those are advantages of using embedded system or wherever, but one of the most disadvantages I found, and it's funny because we tend to increase day by day, but there are certain things people, I don't know if I can say refuse, but it's really difficult for them to accept and use as normal life. So one of the most important, I'm not gonna say important, are advantages important, okay, wherever. So one of them is needs long time to market. This is really funny for me because if you want to sell something that is going to reduce the cost of energy at home or in a company or wherever, or you want to build a system that is going to automate few things at home, the person comes to you and says, okay, you want to sell this to me. What are the advantages I'm going to have besides having control through my phone. And then you say, you're going to save energy. And then he's going to say, okay, I save energy, but the money I would use to buy energy again is the one I'm going to give you, is the one I'm going to use to pay. So then you say, okay, but you're gonna be safe here and stuff like that. And then he's going to ask, before you appeared, I was just fine. I didn't have any issues of robbery and all of that. So I think marketing is an important point, because before selling, we have to show them all of the advantages we are going to find using this kind of devices. And I think it ain't easy at all to make people change. It's a big change. So we have to start from that, so that way we don't even have a big effort on selling, because telling them everything in that marketing part, the selling part is easier if you say, okay, I saw the pros and cons and I'm going to buy this. But if you get there and talk about prices and stuff, I don't think he's really going to buy. Only those big companies that yeah, I'm not gonna say that they love, okay, I'm not gonna say that word, but they tend to go for this kind of system because they think people will think it is saving a lot, etc. But behind that, they are actually doing bad stuff. But anyway, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is Arduino and Firebase. Well, as I said before, one of the most important terminologies in embedded system was real-time connection or interaction, and having the real-time database in Firebase, I think something you can really make use of without many problems. So, well, what do we need to create a simple connection within Arduino and Firebase? It's simple. Well, I really wanted to show you a physical example, etc. But my board has few problems, and yeah, I'll be able only to show the code, and I think it's okay. Maybe after I can be able to share a video or something. So first of all, you have to create an account in Firebase. That's the base. Then download Arduino IDE in case you don't have one, and configure the board. In my board, for example, well, my board is, I'm not using Arduino, so in case you think without configuring you can use, yeah, that's totally wrong, because there are certain libraries we use in different kinds of boards, and they're not, yeah, you need to download or something. So you need to see which board are you using, then you can see what configurations can be made. And as well, this last one, I would use if I was using an Arduino that doesn't have an Wi-Fi module, but my board has one, so I wouldn't use the S. So yeah, it wouldn't be useful. But if you are using an Arduino, for sure you have to have this S826. So this is how you download Firebase and create an account. It's a video actually. I don't know if you can see it, but it's basically this, how to create an account and how to create a project. Then I'll be showing my code in my IDE. I'm not gonna show the output because I don't have the board, but I'm going to show all the steps I used to get in here. So it's basically this. I don't think you can actually see everything in here, but you can easily create an account and start a project using Firebase. So, but before the thank you, yeah, this is not okay. Before the thank you, I would like to show the code. And so here, under this. So, okay, here's the code. And the first thing we notice here is that we have to define a Firebase host, which is a value that we are going to take out from the Firebase, of course, and Firebase authentication, which is going to be the code, and we are going to take out from Firebase as well. So here we have, okay, for the first one, right? We have here, we go to real-time database. My network isn't that good. Well, I was already here, I'm sorry. So what you do is to copy this here, then you go back here. Let me just close my WhatsApp, it's making noise. So come here and you paste, and you just take off this HTTP part, you don't need it. And now the second one for Firebase authentication. Authentication is probably simple. Just go here and then from settings for project settings. So service accounts. So database secrets. Come down here, show, and just copy, and I'm sorry. We come back here and paste. So for this, yeah, I forgot to start from the beginning. I'm sorry. That's my bad. So this first one, you have to take from wherever. I mean, yeah, from GitHub. You can find this library. So what do you do when you get there? Okay, this is the GitHub. I'll share the link after. Just go to here, code, and download zip. I already downloaded it, so I don't need it anymore. And after this, you go to libraries. Hold on. You go back to your Arduino IDE. So, sketch, include library, add zip library, and then the location of your library. Mine is this one right here. I'm not gonna edit because I already did that. And for the second one, for the S Wi-Fi, in case you don't, okay, for this one right here, you don't need to use any outside link. Just go here, sketch, include library, manage libraries. Sometimes it takes a while to open. And I'm sorry, you first copy this name right here. Oh boy, yeah. I'm just okay. My computer is slow. It's really slow today. I don't know why, but you copy this S Then you come here, you do nothing, like sketch, blah blah blah. Then you come here and you paste and you're gonna install. I already have it installed, so I won't do it anymore. So the next thing now is to go back to the Firebase. Yeah, my computer is really slow today. Don't know why. So, so the final step, the only thing you do is to add. You add a name. I'm just gonna say LED2, and the value is gonna be. Uh, okay, I'm sorry for that. Right, and it's done. So the other thing you would have to do if you had the board is to have, first of all, a breadboard because it's safer, especially if you're still at the beginning and you don't want to ruin your Arduino or whatever board. So you have the breadboard and you connect the jumpers to your breadboard and the pins you chose for the lights, and then you put on the LEDs. Well, I used to use red and blue or red and green. So from there, you see that if you keep on this, just red in here in your board, it would appear the red LED on, and if you change to blue or green, depending on the LED you chose to input in your board, the color would be this one. So it's basically this. It doesn't have nothing special. You just have to follow the basic rules. For example, if you have a board that it's different from Arduino, you have to configure first few libraries. For mine, for example, I had to configure a few libraries, and if you have Arduino, you have to have um, an external source for the Wi-Fi, which is a simple node, so you can buy it easily as well. So, and it's basically that. An introduction to embedded systems. I hope you liked as much as I did. And yeah, as I said in the beginning, this was going to be really quick, simple, and yeah, questions, whatever. Let me stop sharing first. And thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Valkyria. You have a few questions on the chat.
Okay.
So, okay, one of the questions is kind of a funny one. It's asking why is the presentation in English? I don't know if you want to answer that.
Uh, okay. Well, first of all, I'm doing the course in English, so well, let me answer there. Well, why is the presentation in English? Okay, I'm doing my course in English. That's why it's simple for me to communicate in English. That's why. That's the only reason. Everything I've learned so far was in English, and it would be a little bit difficult for me to say a few technical aspects in Portuguese, and that's the only reason I choose presenting in English. But for the next time, I will try. I don't know. I will try to do it in Portuguese only. Yeah, but it will be really difficult, but I'll do my best.
Right. I think English is totally fine though. Anyways, moving on to the next question. Is this they're asking if you think this is marketable in Mozambique, in your opinion? I mean, is it easy to sell?
Well, it's not that easy, as I say during the presentation, that many people tend to, well, we are all afraid of new technologies, and if we do not introduce this to them before selling, of course, it is going to be really difficult. But I think if we do a really good marketing on that and explaining everything on point, it's possible that okay, it's okay. I can see that more companies tend to use those kind of system more than singular persons. So yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Next question from Carlos. He asks, is there any relation between IoT and embedded systems?
Yes, it is, of course. Well, in the beginning, I said everyday objects becoming computer nodes because unfortunately, I didn't manage to bring on my final project, the one that I want to show, but everyday objects becoming computer nodes because anything can be a computer as long as we know how to configure. And yes, so if I'm here in a certain restaurant, I'm sorry for using cooking examples all the time, that's all I know. So if you have a table, if okay, I do want to eat something, but yeah, I'm a very shy person, I'm really shy. So for me, that would be helpful if I find something behind the table, which an RFID signal or something that tells them that someone is here and I don't need to keep on calling him. So, yes, on that moment, the table is becoming a computer. So, yes, there is a relation between IoT and embedded system.
All right, great. Next, we have a question from Carlos Tembe. He's asking, is there any case of successful embedded systems built by Mozambicans? Do you have an example to share?
Yes, I have. The owner is Jason Singolani, and he is building up his own circuits, such as to avoid using only Arduinos and being just same as the others. So he is using or building his own system circuits, I mean, and in which we are able to control many departments of the house. So without using Arduino, it's not that known yet, but yes, it exists.
Okay, so if you could please do share any links or any materials on how we could find those, be nice. So moving on to the
Okay.
next question, we have a question from Ivan. He's asking, what's your advice for a noob farmer like him, wanting to learn and play more with a microcontroller, most specifically an Uno R3? Moreover, are there any communities here in Moz that he could join and find likewise minds to share and learn?
Okay. Let me say that the first communication I had with an Arduino or any kind of information of that nature, it was on GDG group. I mean the ones that we had in person and stuff. So I had to look up for a few communities, but I only found TME Education, and you can talk to Frederico Zille. He was the one who gave me a week, like a course, yeah, a week course of introduction to Arduino, and from that, I had to search on my own using websites and stuff. So I think, well, we have to talk to him because so far is the only solution I see for people like him and like me because I know nothing of Arduinos and stuff either. I'm just learning and trying to see through videos so far, but that would be really helpful if we had um, a community whereby different people will be able to exchange knowledge and doubts about that. Sorry, I cannot hear you.
I was on mute, my bad. Is there any advice or any tips that you would like to share with someone who's just starting?
Well, um, Ye- well, I'm not good in giving advices, but everyone that is doing whatever thing, the main point here is trying to get the technical aspects and then find the logic on your own because the logic is something that it's yours. For each person, a different type of logic. It has to be something unique. But the technical issues, of course, we should look up to them. But the logic has to be yours. So you have to really read a lot about it so that we don't end up with people that are just copying someone else's project, but we need to create our own.
Okay, you said you're not good at giving advice, but I think you just gave us great advice. Thank you very much. And final question actually comes from Paula. Those are two questions actually. So first, how can we reach you? And second, can you send us a demo when you have the materials ready?
Yes, I'll send. And how can you reach who?
You.
Well, anywhere. I'm not a social media person, so I just use those random LinkedIn, it's my name, and Facebook, also my name. Just, yeah, email, if that's okay.
Okay, sounds good.
More?
Please share
Sure,
those
it's enough.
on the chat if you can. And thank you so much for your presentation. We were really happy to have you here.
Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed.